wish is something that has been sort of keen on our mind, us as teachers. I've heard a couple people talk about it. What do you do after freeCodeCamp? So if you know freeCodeCamp, it's an unbelievable resource, getting to know everything about HTML, CSS for designs and JavaScript. And afterwards, after that, or any kind of boot camp or any kind of website that is keen to put everything together and let you know the difference, seems to be a situation where you're like, I need to get to the next step. I need to be able to go and say, I understand how to do JavaScript or CSS or HTML. I know the basics, and I want to continue down the path to be able to really create my first website. And what is it that I can do about that? So, talking about that, let's talk a little bit further about that. So you are the last question on freeCodeCamp. You feel comfortable, you know your CSS, or at least you feel comfortable. You can do it. If they present it out to you, you've been doing great. You may have finished a particular Python course. This is an exaggeration here. Of course, this is the hello world. But here you are, and you've been able to go on this kind of website and see what's going on and be able to click on that run button and truly understand what's going on. You may have taken one of my courses where I teach at the Lynn University hackathons and other hackathons where I will teach you how to do websites. I'll teach you CSS. I'll teach you HTML. I may have teach you JavaScript, but it usually stays in the website. And the reason why is that it's easy to, if you look at it, if you don't recognize what this is, look at the HTML, look at the CSS, click on those files. And as you click on the files on the left-hand side, you can go and see different things about your website and what's going on in there. And you can see your results on the right side. So that's good. But now you're like, great, Damien, I appreciate it. I have this great website, but how do I get it to a real website? I'm going to give you some options about that. One of the ways you can start is, and let me truly give you the hint of this, nobody starts from scratch. Okay, you're going to see a lot of tutorials that were starting from scratch, and that's simply because they want to show off, or we want to show what's going on in there, or we feel that there's a problem with sort of jumping into it. In this scenario, what I want to do is you probably have some CSS or some HTML, or you can create some yourself. But perhaps you want to get sort of your own profile page or something that lets you know others a little bit about you, a little about your product, a little about your parents' product, your family's product that you want to sort of build one on there. One trick I use is to use templates. There are amazing websites like Template Monster. These websites give you a tremendous amount of files. And they charge different amounts. This particular one costs $159. There's different reasons why this costs $159. This is a particular reason for this. There's all sorts of different templates. Don't get stuck by the price. This is simply a bunch of files already created for you. Okay, so another place, a little bit cheaper. In this case, it's 100% free and available for you to utilize and modify would be this place. So you will choose one of these many templates. This is a template. Here we go, it's a different template. What you do is you'll simply choose one of them. You can click on free download. You can click on live menu and look at it. See what it looks like on desktop, see what it looks like on mobile, and see, this is not bad. I could. And picture yourself changing, this picture's not me, so I would change the picture. This text is not mine, I would change the text. And they are just files. That's all they are. They're files of .html, .css, and .js for JavaScript, and they each are what I've said. So the HTML1 is HTML and all that. So let's look at what a common website will do by utilizing these templates. I'm going to click on this template. I've chosen a good one. I'm going to get here, and I'm going to get over here a directory. And as you can see, I've chosen a different one a second ago, and I've chosen a location on my desktop that I want to keep all my stuff that I'm working on right now. And I would suggest you do that in your desktop. And I know people perhaps have different locations, and that's fine, but don't save everything in your downloads. And if you were surprised by the fact that I clicked on something and it asked me to download, my browser has settings, as does yours, where I chose to ask it each time I download where I want to save the files. This is something I choose to do so. I've chosen to save it on my desktop in a directory called my code. I'm going to click on save. Now I'm going to go ahead and just drag this window out of the way so that we can go ahead and continue. So here we are. There are several files in here. It's a directory here. Now, just to be fair, I'm on a Mac. This is the exact same thing on Mac, on Windows. There is no difference nowadays with these operating systems. I happen to have chosen one, to be the truth, because my mother bought me this Mac. So this is the reason why I'm having it. But you can choose any platform and it's all the same. This is simply a collection of files, zip files. In this case, this is a Python file, the script that we'll utilize in a second. And this is another zip file. When I double click on the zip file on Mac, and if you double click on Windows and Linux and you follow through the wizard, it will extract the content of this. This is a content of a single file that will have many things, and we can look at it together. In this particular Mac, I will go ahead and double click on it to get into that directory. This is what that directory now looks like. Inside the HTML up-paradigm-shift directory is this files. And I can edit these files, and we'll talk about how to edit those things in any which way. And then we'll, at the very end, upload it to a particular web page that you can now see it in there. And I'll explain more about what we used to do and what we'll do now, and just to get something up and running for you. But what I want to talk about is more specifically, let's talk about what you do with these files. So this is your file. This is an HTML file, a TXT file, or you may have your code. You may be able to drag your code. You're saying this particular code, I want to copy it, as we're going to do here. Copy it. I want to put it into a file, and I want to put it somewhere where I can see it on my computer. What do I do? What's my next step? So again, step number one, make sure you have a directory. I suggest in your desktop, here it is in my desktop, that has all these files that you're working on, a single place, and not to have it in your downloads, only because of the fact that it's difficult to find and difficult to look at that. But here I have several desktops. In Windows, I have the command line, which you can access by doing the Windows command and type in CMD, and you will see the command line there. You can also choose PowerShell. That's another option in Windows. In Mac and in Linux, we have Terminal. And this is a way to sort of look at the files in a command line format. So here I am in my desktop. I'm going to go ls-la. This lists everything. dir is what you do in Windows. Here we are inside my desktop. I have the one that we're talking about here, several different directories. They're listed here by D. Don't worry too much about what we're looking at here. Just trust me. We have a directory called my code. I'm going to go inside my code, and I'm going to press tab on Windows. It'll be the same way. And I'm going to look at it and see what's going on there. There's all my files, same as what you can kind of see through my shell. In this case, my shell is transparent, so you're not seeing things. Nothing's wrong with the monitor. It is transparent. You can see on the back here that there is, and I'll make that a little smaller, there is the same kind of directories in here, okay? And we'll do something in that moment. What you want to do is edit some of these directories to do something about it. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is a perfectly fine editor that I've chosen. There are many other ones. This is one I would choose for you, and it will help you do a lot of things of editing files, manipulating the files, pushing them, although it's complicated. It's not complicated. We'll do it together. The files and be able to process it. So first in editor, as when you open it up, you'll get this sort of window that gives you more details of what's going on. You can close that. On the left-hand side, there's different icons. We want to be on the first icon on the left, and we either go to File and go Open, or I want to click on the Open folder here. Now, this is the same interface on Windows, Mac, Linux, anything you have will work on there. We'll choose to go ahead and select where we have our code. We have it under Desktop in My Code, and I can choose that directory with everything within it. Once I do that, when the Visual Studio Codes comes in there, and you might not have this option at the bottom, don't worry too much about it, but you will have this list of directories in here. Anything with a triangle next to it is directory equal open up, and you will see the contents while at the same time seeing the rest of the files. This is the contents of one of the files. This is the Python file in here. And let's look and try to run the Python file. What do we do with that? First of all, we can click on it and look at it. This is what the Python run file does. And it's asking me, Visual Studio is asking me, do I want to install some of these sort of, suggestions and hints. For this moment, I will not. I'm going to go ahead and hold down the Control key, and then I'm going to click on the quote that is between the Escape key and the tab key. Now I'm going to put that in so you can see it there. I'm going to click on the control key, and there is an escape key in your keyboard, and there is a tab key, and in between, usually, there is the special sort of tab, and I'm going to go ahead and click on it and tap it. I believe there's an option how to do that over here. It's called the terminal. It is right there. You know what? I'm going to show you how to do that there. I'm going to close in the top right corner with the X, and click on terminal, and I'm going to click on new terminal. Perhaps you will not see that, but if you hold down the control key and hit that key to the left, number 1, to the above the tab and below the escape key, which is the sort of tilde button, you will get the command line prompt. The command line prompt is something we saw a little while ago, but it's a little easier on this one. If I go ls la -la on my Windows, or dir on your DOS, you will be able to see the directory we're looking at there. Here's what you do with Python. If you want to run Python, you can write in the word Python, and you have your interpreter in there. You can try different things, but as was pointed out to me, what if you want to do something a little more sophisticated? I'm going to press exit to exit Python and clear the directory. Here I am in the directory, and again I'm going to go ls -li on my Mac and dir on your Windows, and see the directory and see the file that I have on the left tab of this screen. It says Python over there, python.py, and it's a perfectly legitimate Python program, and I want to run it. I want to have maybe something more sophisticated than my hello world, but I want to see it. I'm going to be on the command line at the very bottom. I'm going to click on there, and I'm going to type in python.py. My program is called python.py, and press enter and see hello world here. So one more time here, let's see if I can do this right here. You can see at the very bottom of the screen, it says hello world there, right there. Okay, so I've done this successfully, and you can see that that's how you get all the different programs. You click on them, you can edit them over here in command line, you go towards them, and you run them. If I wanted to see a particular PHP file, I could do PHP and the file, to a particular node file, I'd type in node space and then the file, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and create a new file here by clicking on this button here. I'm going to go type in JS, myfile.js. I'm going to go console log hello world. And this is a basic Node application. It's a valid Node application. I'm going to go ahead and click Control S or File Save. And now if I go ls -r, again, dir for you, you will see that it says my file in there. And if I type in node space, if you look carefully here at my bottom of the screen here, oh my, there we go. What is going on? Why am I not moving here? Okay. You'll have to trust me by looking at the very bottom of the screen here over there on the left-hand side. You will type in my node, and I'm going to type in the file myfile.js. So here I am running the console file you see above me. So the file that you see above me here, or above me, in my mind, I'm in that terminal mode that you see there on the right of me right now. You can see that I typed in node space myfile.js, and it ran the hello world that was the JavaScript version, and I could have a PHP version, etc., etc. So what do I do here if I want to put these things up on a server? First, what do we do if we want to look at one of these? These are different directories. I guess on the left-hand side, look at my travel over there. I'm going to open the HTML paradigm. I'm going to open this file, and I'm going to go ahead and choose something here called BocaJS. Okay, so I'm going to have BocaJS there. I'm going to go on the bottom of the terminal. I'm going to go into that directory. So it's HTML5-paradigm. It pre-filled everything because I typed in the first letter and I pressed tab on my keyboard. They'll work on all operating systems, on all browsers, on all command lines. Here I am. I'm going to clear the screen. Again, I'm working on the terminal at the very bottom, and I'm going to click on ls, and I'm going to see the image there, and I can look at it. If I wanted to see it on my local computer, and this was a regular website, there are several different options. One of the options is to install a program called Live Server. This is something I have installed on my computer. And what it'll do is it'll say wherever that live server is being run, it will look for a particular file and open. And you didn't see it here because it happened on my other window here. It opened up a local version of my file, and it looks for an index.html file and presents it to you and all that. And it's failing at that, so I'm not wondering what's going on in here. So it should have looked for one called index.html file. Okay, So I'm going to look at that and I'm going to say, oh, 8080. Okay, that's failing on me right now, and it should have been looking at a particular file. That should have brought up this particular index.html. But again, if that's not what you have, if you have PHP installed, you can go PHP -s. Again, there's an index of file, PHP -s, capital S, localhost 5000. As an example, you can choose any particular port. I'm now going to come in here and I'm going to open up a new browser and I type in what I just typed in there, localhost 5000. Okay, and here we are, a more legitimate version of this particular website. The other live server seemed to have conflicted with something else I have running. Otherwise, you would see this. So again, I have my thing working. Now, the important thing about this one is that I can make changes. So I can go and say BocaJS.org. See what I'm making changes on the right-hand side. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to hit refresh here, and we will see the changes come up on the website. So this is one of the options you have here. There are several different options. You can start a node application. You can have something called simple HTTP server. That's another option that there's available in here. I'm going to start that as well. It says port 8000. I'm going to do the same thing. Localhost 8000. The live, so there you are. One more time, again, I am running this HTML file here and putting it up there. Okay, but you say to yourself, I understand. This is something we do as developers to be able to see what's going on in here. Again, if you were just simply running a Python file, you would simply type in Python space the file, and you would run it. You would edit it at the very top, as I would do here. I would open this up, edit it, and then each time run it inside here. Okay, you will be able to see that I have different things options. I have different options already by automatically that says print, that it has different suggestions of Python. It understands the Python file. At the same time, if I open up this J file and I type in the same thing, print, you'll notice that it doesn't have the word print. It has a different kind of a print from JavaScript. So if I have something like a func, there is no such thing as that. It has function on, because that is part of JavaScript. So that's something that I didn't point out here. But we have different things in Python and different things in JavaScript. Getting back to it. So you've said to yourself, I've done enough work. Let me not say that. I've done my changes that I'm looking for. I'm okay with it. I've looked at it. I've tested it. I've either installed, I've Googled how to install live-server. I've Googled how to install simple HTTP server, again, both options. Or I happen to have installed, for personal reasons, PHP. And again, I went type in PHP -s, capital S, localhost, and a port, usually 5000, 8000 works is fine, and gone to that directory. So now you say to yourself, I'm a real developer, right? I have real files here. They may have been your own. They may have been from a template, as I did here. But you have a real set of files, and you say to yourself, I want it up there. I want to show it to my mom. I want to show it to my friends. I want to show it to my coworkers. I want to show it to my boss. I'm going to go ahead and click on Control-C here. So I'm going to finish the command line because I'm editing. I'm looking at it. It looks good. I'm ready to go. ls-la, again, dir for your Windows folks. And you'll be able to see the contents of the files and saying, you know what? I wish all those files were up on a server. One option I'm going to give you right now, there's two options that are just spectacular. It's easy peasy. The first one is search. Search.sh is a hosting website for static web pages. This is not for Node web pages. It's not for Python. It's simply for static pages. Now, most of the time that you want a quick website up that perhaps describes yourself, describes your anything like that, will work for you right there. You need to install npm. This is a requirement, and you can Google how to install that. It's out of the scope of this conversation. Once you install that and run this line here on the front page of search.com, you simply type in search. That's as easy peasy as you can. In fact, I'm going to give you one more suggestion. Automatically, you can have search.sh be part of your domain name. So, for example, we can do BocaJS.search.sh. Now we go there, perhaps there's a web page, or perhaps I've shown some information. There's some information in there. It's a weird web page. We'll do a different one in a second. But if you want something like that and you're okay with it, then what you can do here is simply come in here and type in search. That's it. Once you've installed it, all you have to do is be in the directory where the index.html file was. Be in the directory where all your different pages were. Be in the directory where you were typing live.sh and everything works well. Serge will ask you two questions. One, am I in the right directory? Did you mean a different directory and you typed it by mistake? No, I'm in the right directory. I'm going to press enter. And second, are you okay with this randomly assigned domain name that it got to you? You look at it, it says past minus plantation.serge.sh. I'm like, not so good. I want something that's easy to see it. I'm going to go and say BocaJS lunch. And I'm going to press enter. Again, it has to end with serge.sh if you want it to be your own domain name. Now, again, you could do that. We would have to just sort of type it, and there are some steps to it. And we'll do it in another situation. By the way, it's super, super, super easy. But as you can see, it's already there. And I'm not kidding. I haven't been waiting for long on purpose. I've just been talking about it. So if I go Boca, whoops, I'm going to come over here. Let's scroll so you can see it. BocaJS lunch.serge.sh, and boom, there's a web page exactly as we needed. Let's take a little bit to load, but it's going to be the exact web page that we created. We're happy with it. It is what we're looking for. It has the text that we're looking for, that we liked. It looked exactly like it did when we were looking it on our live.sh. I'm sorry, on our live server or our PHP server, so we can be confident that's the exact same idea. And you have a URL that's accessible from anywhere. In fact, you can try it absolutely right now. In fact, it's so accessible, you can type in HTTPS. And it will still work there. There's some things, the camera, the special driver, something that will work only when you have an HTTPS website, and you have one now. You have one that you can do e-commerce from and all that. Sure, it has the word, BocaJS, has serge.sh at the end, the very end. But truly, if you're showcasing your skills, if you're showcasing it to a coworker, a boss that really is impressed by what you've done so quickly, with the work, then it's going to work. If you want to showcase yourself, you put your name.serge.sh. That's not a big deal. Another option, if you happen to be, where BocaJS is node.sh. Now, it did change the URL to site.code/no, but it's very, very similar to Serge. It gives you the exact same options. He typed in now, and that was it. Then automatically, as you can see, this is an example. This is what you're going to see on your computer. You're going to get a temporary directory that with a little bit of work, very, very little bit of work, you can have it with your name and be able to go ahead and be something like BocaJS.now.sh. Some of the websites I have are already in this case. This has been super, super easy. We've gotten our web page up there. The thing with now.sh is it will look at a valid node application with programming, with intelligence at the end, and do the exact same thing we did here with Serge. So in other words, you literally create your node application, you get it working in your local app, and next thing you know, you have it working with the .now.sh, be your name.now.sh up there. You can showcase it to the whole world. This has been a BocaJS event. If you do have any questions or any issues, hopefully you've been able to now feel that you can grab your code, you can edit, you can start Visual Studio, you can choose a directory where it's on there, you can edit the files on the left-hand side, click on them, and then holding down the control and the tilde that's to the left of the one above the tab below the escape key. You will be able to edit and get a command line. You'll be able to run the programs you have in there, to see them running, to see them constantly running as you change something on the very top where you see your file. Run it again on the bottom. Again, let's go ahead and go there. We're going to go step down one directory, get out of that directory on Windows. I'm going to go ls-la. You can dir. There's my Python. I can go Python, and then run the Python program, the file that's Python, and see what's going on there and say, come on, this has got to be more. And then come here and then run it and go crazy. This has been Lunch and Learn. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And please leave your comments and requests as to what I should teach you next at the next Lunch and Learn. See you.